Welcome to the Harnessing Your Divine Feminine show, hosted by Andrea Bagby. We believe that when you give a woman an opportunity, you give her the world. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our videos.
Thank you for watching the show today, listening in your car or watching it on the computer. Welcome to Harnessing Your Divine Feminine, the show where we give women opportunities to tell their stories and to speak out on behalf of other women. Today, I'm so proud and happy to have with us a very dear friend of mine, AmberLee Minor. She's a healer, a yoga teacher. She does some light language, and she has amazing stories of triumph and victory to tell us. So, okay, AmberLee, welcome.
Hi. Hello there.
Hello. Okay, so you know me. I really just I want you to tell your story.
Mm-hmm.
Or you have lots of stories.
I have lots of stories. Yes, I do have a few.
From abusive relationship, finding spirituality, yoga teacher training, raising teenage girls, light language, all of it.
Yeah.
Go.
Okay. When I was little, I've done light language since I was, third grade was my biggest memory on a swing that was connected to a tree in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just back and forth and in tongues, charismatic people or Pentecostals will call it tongues,
right.
Light language. It's a heartfelt, takes the brain out of it. You're just connected straight to the divine, like you're just a straw, and then you just sing. And a lot of times I'll do it. That's what I did when I was younger. So I've done it my whole life, but it's always been known that's your quiet time when you're meditating and prayer and all that kind of stuff. So when you told me, I want you to do it at the gala, I got feedback of, no, you shouldn't do that. That's a private, quiet thing. And I'm like, but I do it with all my clients.
Right.
When I'm working on the massage table or doing Reiki or quantum light healing, anything like that. Even when it comes down to reflexology, I will use it because it shows me where things are. So as the aura lights up, then I can see red if it's a negative energy, and I know where to go to until it pulls through blue. So I feel like it's a kind of a cheat sheet. My mom's like, it's not a cheat sheet. And I'm like, well, I guess not everybody gets to see that, although everybody has it.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't believe that they can see it because they're like, oh, no, that's in the movies. I'm like, no, it's really there. It is really a part of you.
It is.
Light language, everybody can do it. It's not like, oh, I'm extra special. I've just done it since I was little. That's all I know. So I love doing it. It's a connection that shuts off your head and just really connects your hearts. Both of my daughters do it. Taught Jason how to do it. I worked with you a little bit one time on the labyrinth, and it started to bubble.
Mm-hmm.
The head fights it when it starts to bubble up, but it feels so full of love when it happens.
It is loving. It's healing.
It is totally.
I know when I listen to you do it, I know I'm healing. My subconscious is understanding.
Yeah.
Right.
It's almost like you know what I'm saying when you really connect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes I can tell what it is, and other times I can't.
Right.
Sometimes I just get lost in it. Everybody's like, well, what did you say? And I'm like, I don't know. I really wasn't there. It really wasn't me.
Right.
I'm just a straw. So you have to make sure that your ego, both healthy and unhealthy, are in balance when you're going to go work with somebody in light language. Otherwise, I'll transmute what I'm dealing with.
Right.
Which, before this last retreat, I processed a lot before I came in. But I had already made that choice that I was going to walk away from that toxic area. Not all the people that were there, not my learners, the political parties involved.
Right. The adults, basically the adults, always there.
It's adults. Adults. I love kids. I love kids.
Right.
Adults are different. They've been hurt and indoctrinated so much that it's intense. So as far as stories go, I was in a cult when I was younger with my parents. And so when I hit 17, 18, I wanted to find out what it meant to be spiritually connected, not religion, which is Hebrew back to bondage is what that means. I don't need any more bondage. I have enough.
Right.
I'd like to get rid of some of it. But it didn't flow well with my parental units because they're like, wait, what are you doing? Because it's it was such taboo to even break away from the church that we were going to that was part
Right.
of the cult,
Mhm.
let alone try to do your own thing. And now I'm proud of my mom. She carries rocks in her bra and all kinds of different things. And she knows that when I see something passed away on the side, I always tell it sorry for loss of its life. And she's used to me now. She's like, when we prepare food, even it's vegetables, thank you for nurturing my body. I always thank everything before it comes to me, or let it pass through. I hate seeing roadkill.
I know, I do too.
Because I feel like it's my fault as a human. Like, our roadways are here. This is why you're gone. So the kids all laugh at me. I hit a bunny one time and we had to pull over and I had to tell its friends I was sorry.
I'm sorry on behalf of humanity.
I'm so sorry.
I know.
Jason's like, the night is ruined. I'm like, no,
it's not ruined. You just had to have a little service and move on.
It was right on the side of the grass. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I feel like I'm all over on the stories part. But after that, finding spirituality, I really started to connect with different people that were tribes. But some of them were way far out there past my own awakening level that I met them when I was young, 18, 21.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, you guys are way out there. But I am now way out there at that point too. Like,
see, and I don't think you're way out there. To me, I'm like, I mean, she's pretty normal. But I can tell, I told Felicia today that sometimes I see now where other people think I'm way out there.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like super normal, like everyday life.
Yeah.
Like, to me, you just live everyday life as like a mom and a wife and a healer, But then you always see people like what we experienced at the last retreat.
Yeah.
Outsiders kind of looking in going, what is that?
And why are they so happy?
I know. We're just happy people. Yeah.
Even when they're being so nice.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, wow, you must really hate yourself to act like that.
Like,
that
or they're
sucks.
just super programmed, and we got out of the programming.
Yes.
Is what we did.
No longer in the Matrix. I took the pill.
Yeah.
The blue pill, is it the red pill?
The Matrix never really accepted me anyway. So I was like, it wasn't a big leap for me.
Yeah. No, I never fit in. Not in school, not in college.
No.
Workforce, oh, heck no. I was the one that was on the PA system going, are you having a good day out there, everybody? I got in trouble for that one time, too. Yeah. But being a mother, once that happened, and I got to have 10 years of trying to get pregnant with Kayla was intense, and then Arabella just slipped in.
Right.
And I was like, whoa, it happened. So less than 15 months apart. And I was pregnant again. I'm like, okay. And when you have kids, it's true. You get to see what your mate is really about and maybe what you didn't face in the relationship prior. And so seeing what I saw, I knew I needed to change my life on how it was running its course at that time. And I was hoping by walking away that it would help him see, but it's free will. So he never really saw. He still really doesn't see. I hope one day he sees. It's just he hasn't yet, still to this point. So
I mean, that's called love, right? Unconditional love.
Yeah.
And accepting everyone where they're at.
Yeah. Just knowing that's where
Isn't it rather intense when you see your mate and you know what's going to happen next?
Yeah, you've seen the cycle.
And you're like, but they don't, no one else sees it around you.
No,
you're like the only one seeing it.
Nobody even knew it was going on. They're like, oh, you have the perfect relationship. I'm like,
right. Right.
The parade wave smile. Everything's fine.
Right.
Everything's great.
Okay.
Yeah. One of my counselors was like, fine means effing insecure about everything.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah,
that's true.
Oh, right.
Absolutely.
But making the break for them was worth all of it.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't fun. Everybody's like, oh, yay, spiritual awakening. No. It's like you're on a roller coaster going down and you're just screaming, and your guardian angel and your spirit guides that are here working with you, ancestral, are all looking at you going, you got this. And you're going, ah!
Right. And then I would tell my students sometimes, like, well, if you're miserable, you're probably on the right path.
Yes.
Like,
oh my gosh.
And we came to this earth to face ourselves.
Yes.
And we're always facing a different layer of ourselves. And it's like, it's just exhausting sometimes to face yourself all that much. Yeah.
And then to give yourself the grace, like, okay, I should be doing something, but I really need to sit still, because you're going through all of that.
Mhm.
Like I haven't left the woods since I made that choice to go, okay. But I told you I'm updating my brochure. Okay. I'm no longer dragging 1 foot in 1 foot. I'm just gonna
You're
jump
all in now.
Yeah,
and I'm so proud of you. I knew you were all in. When you messaged me that day and you were like, yeah, this is what I'm doing, I was like, oh, she's all in now. I was like, I'm so proud of her.
Even my uncle was like, Amberlee, it's about time. He goes, you finally got it. And I was like, oh, stop. I mean,
Right.
It's easy when you got tons of money. My uncle is, if you see this Uncle Jeff, we all know you're loaded. The kids call him Tony Stark. And
Tony Stark.
He
okay.
looks like Tony Stark too.
Mhm.
He's adorable. Mm-hmm.
So, money is different, right? Like
Yes.
we have abundance. I always say we have abundance.
Always have
Always have abundance.
Yeah. But it makes you make weird choices sometimes where I think I would have been all in at the beginning of August versus, I can make this work. It's easier this way. It's a little more cushy this way. Now it's like, okay, I trust you. I trust what you're going to do. I trust how you're going to do it and who I'm going to see. And then as soon as I did that, you're like, hey, we need to talk. I'm like, get out. Okay.
Yeah.
And then another thing happened.
Because you've got more surprises coming too. Like, I know you do. And because you putting yourself out there, like made the more surprises come.
Yeah. Change the frequency of what I'm resonating at. Even on the way here, I also do light language. So if I'm not breathing, I'm light languaging because then I can't mess it up. It has nothing to do with it has to do with my highest good, which will help other people in the long run. And that's really all I want to do is help somebody who's been through this. And they're like, I don't think I can do that. And I'm like, but if you do, then this door will open, this door will open. And when you get weary, you have your tribe that holds you up.
You have your tribe. And so you left the direct deposit job.
Yes.
Like those direct deposit, because we think that's going to make our life better. Can I tell you, I was so broke when I had those jobs, like broke, like power getting turned off, like stuff getting taken away. Like, and I was exhausted and broke from having that cushy direct deposit with those benefits.
Yes.
And I was walking past that building in Atlanta this weekend and I was like, wow, I was a different person. And I remember doing it and not liking it.
Yes.
I didn't like it when I did it. And then when I left the direct deposit, the good job, I got like the car I want to drive, lived in nice houses, like had more money than ever. Yeah. Like, and it's because I was like, and I remember telling Spirit, like, you need to do something here. Yes. I'm not doing that again. Like, and you're there. Like when you sent me that message, I felt that energy and I was like, I've been in, she is there. She's
Once
there.
you hit it, you
can't go back. You might as well just jump off a building. Like
that's exactly what I did. Yeah. And that's how we got the land. I was pushed to the point to get the land. Yeah. And we couldn't afford it then, but Spirit opened a way and it was like $100 a month. We got the land from this awesome guy who was a grandfather of a mother who I taught their kid. It was just one of those wild connection things. And then we got to buy the land later on. And I know the land is meant for that. I know the land is meant for the retreats. I know when you said, do you want to do your retreat? I'm like, well, yes. Yes, I do. How can we make this happen? I know. And then I've got the guy to build the bridge. And 20.54 acres. I just want to say 21. I can't, but I want to. Rounding up sounds so much better to say 21. Yeah. It's such a good number.
That's a lot of land, 20 acres though, like a lot.
That's where I've been since I turned in my notice and said, okay, here's my next great big adventure. Scared shitless. Oh, wait, can I cuss? Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm happy you're scared because that means you're doing something like,
oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Growth is not supposed to be comfortable. It's just not like, so, okay. Your girls, you got these two awesome teenage daughters and they're able to see what can really be done. And it started out, when I met you were going through this awful, you were like, no, I'm leaving him. Yeah. Right? Like I'm leaving him, like this is not resonating. And then I watched sort of the growth and the decisions being made to sort of walk away from that whole thing, the whole lifestyle of like the bio dad, right? Yeah. And I kept on thinking, when are they going to just like cut this? Yes. Like cut the whole bio dad thing.
And they're in such a better mental health state. You could see it in their pictures.
Yeah. And now they've started making products like look, now they're like, I'm going to like, because I thought about it, I was like, we should just go and help them with their business because I suffered with crappy jobs doesn't mean they should. I was like, they could have a business soon. They just need a website. I was like, it's fine.
Arabella's so excited.
I know.
She went out and bought the books because I told her, I was like, everybody's sponsoring you. And she's like, why would they do that? I'm like, because this is my tribe. Like, I wait to go to the fall retreat. And this last one was euphoric, just euphoric. I try to get people to resonate with 3 words because sometimes you overthink it. And it was a life-changing for me. I had already made the step, but just everything resonated. As soon as I saw Karen, that last and she's, of course, the last one. Oh, Karen, I hope you see this, because when we connected and we both went into spirit, and I did light language over her and we connected, I've always teased that I thought I was going to electrocute somebody, because when it resonates between 2 people, you can feel like you would see in the movie the clap together, and you posted something about the clap yesterday, and that's what it is. So it's 2 spirits coming together and you feel the echo of the frequency around. When we connected, the people that were still in the labyrinth could feel it. Mm-hmm. And and they came out, they're like, we felt you guys hit it. And then we got into a Native American chant that neither of us knew. And it was awesome.
So when I do these retreats, I don't think about who's going to come or who's going to connect. I literally just put it out there. Karen went and found me, and Karen's like old school HYDF.
Yeah.
She came with me back in the day. And she was like, she just messaged me out of the blue. I'm feeling like I should go.
She said it was 7 years in the making.
Yeah.
I'm like, and you're my last one to walk through.
And I didn't know. It wasn't like in my conscious mind that you 2 would connect.
Oh, yeah.
It just like, I just put it out there and people come.
And she was the first one I met too.
Yeah.
Because I had just seen you and I said, hey, I'm going into the woods.
Yeah.
And then Kathy brought her over. Oh, you 2 have to meet. And it was just really fast. And then I never saw her again till the labyrinth. Because I just pretty much stayed out in the woods. Right.
And I knew, and I saw you get out of the car and like walk directly to the woods. And I knew it was you. I was just like, yeah, AmberLee's going to the woods.
Going with the fairies.
So you're intuitive. You do light language. Mm-hmm. You do healings.
Yes. I've done Reiki forever.
Yeah.
And I've done it for so long with the light language anyways, because you can feel the immediate connection as soon as you go. I wanted to get the certification because everybody said, hey, you got to have this piece of paper. And I'm like, I've been doing it since birth, but now I have a piece of paper that says I'm a Reiki master, but I've been doing it forever. Mm-hmm. It's an immediate connection. Like you can feel it. Your hands almost feel like somebody plugged in an electric blanket and it's on high.
Right. And I always say the classes, they help you organize it in your brain a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's really what I could print you out a Microsoft document.
Yeah.
I don't, but
I have it now. It was one of those
helps
things.
People organize it in their head.
And some people have to visualize the form.
Right.
And then when really it varies, almost like everybody's like, oh, take a picture of your aura. Well, your aura changes within each mood, hormone balance, frequency, everything. And they're like, oh, look, here it is forever. I'm like, that's so cute.
Right. Because an hour later, mine's different.
Yes.
So, right.
I mean, yours has changed immensely just sitting here.
Right.
So auras are a natural thing that I've seen since I was younger, but it felt invasive because with your aura, I can see the heart. It's empathic. It makes you almost like, they call it a human lie detector because you always know. Well, when you see aura, it's completely that way. That's why when I see both of you, I'm like, people, I love the people because your aura immediately reflects this soul love. I appreciate it immensely. And you can see when the frustration, like even during the retreat, you went through what I would classify like a category 9.
So every time I start a yoga teacher training or every time I start a retreat, Spirit makes like the leaders heal too.
Oh yeah.
Like we have to heal too. Like we don't get out of this.
No, I think it's worse.
And it gets worse as we get older. Like it gets bigger. And now I've like gotten to where it's like, I know it's coming.
Yeah.
The Spirit's kind of like trickier ways. Spirit's like, I'm just going to slip this in. She's not going to notice. And I'm going to make her face herself more so that she can help other people face herself. And I'm like, are you serious, Spirit? And they're like, yeah, we're totally serious.
When her and I were talking about, I was like, are you serious? Something canoe. I don't know if I can say it.
Probably don't say that.
Okay, don't say that one.
We won't be able to be on YouTube with that word.
They'd be blocking me.
Here's your cookie. So it gets, we're all faced with our past all the time.
Yes, layers of, that was so spot on. We're talking like, I'm going to pick that layer and I'm going to peel back 3 more and then trigger point.
Well, and I know why it happened to me, because I'm supposed to be writing this book.
Yes, you are.
And I haven't started.
Neither have I.
Because as soon as I start it, everybody's going to be like, Andrea, are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, and I'm like,
then change the names for the sacred of others so I don't get in trouble later.
I'm going to have to like change everyone's names.
Your name is Bob, Silly, and Flower.
I thought about it. I was like, should I use like the Days of Our Lives cast names?
Yeah.
Like Hope and Bo, and like, what name should I use?
I got a bow.
Like, what name should I use here? So like, when you've grown, I want to know about, so you have people over to your land and you do healings. Yes. That's your clientele. They go out to the woods and they get healing.
Very VIP. So it's custom to you.
Right.
So then like I have one coming right now, December 1st through the 3rd. So I moved my 200-pound marble. It's about big as your table. Baby's heavy. But she told me she needed to be moved. Yes, things talk to me. Trees, stones, moss especially. I love moss. And so I moved stones, which Arabella, who makes the product, she had harvested these stones, 52 of them when she was 10, up an embankment that's taller than me, so over 10 feet. I don't know how this girl lifted it. I could barely lift one to get it into the wheelbarrow. And every time I touched the stone, I felt her momentum and her drive and her joy. Like just joy of being in the creek, joy of being in the water, being dirty, out in nature. And she was creating her plot of land that she's claimed as hers. And that's where the first retreat house is supposed to go, is where Bella's is. It's going to be named after her.
Good.
Yep.
Yay.
Yep. That happened this weekend. I was like bawling out in the woods by myself. Okay, don't cry, because I do not have waterproof makeup on. But Arabella is a big piece of this right now. And she stepped out in believing in everything. They've only been raised this way.
Right.
They're
just so wonderful. Yeah.
And they're just used to it. And they're like, Mom. And they go, just own who you are. And I'm like, you say that, but you also don't believe like I do. And that's okay. But I've been through enough that let me show you by example. I'm gonna fail first attempt in learning a lot. You're gonna see me do this, but you're gonna see it get better and better every time. Like they didn't believe we could get the land. Now we have the land. They didn't believe that we could get the cabin out there. Now we got the cabin, and that's my retreat center for VIP clients. They have their own little cabin to go to. And then we added on to it called the Love Shack.
Oh, yay. I need the Love Shack.
You gotta come to Love Shack. You have to come to Love Shack. I need to. It's best if I show you. Because everybody's like, well, give me a piece of paper of what you do. And I'm like, well, it varies for each person. So I enter in for the person for December the 3rd. I was like, hey, can I connect with you? Just before you come in the labyrinth, I always ask me, I connect. And then bring them in. So then for almost a week and a half, I tailor the land for their therapy. So there's Creekside, where I do yoga stretching and massage therapy, and that has this area. And I have another one with the 200-pound marble that just started. Then I have Arabella's place. She calls it Whimsical Cottage. So that'll be the name. And then I have the original campsite of when we moved in 2016 and did campsites out there with the kids little, with bubbles and mud and everything in the creek right there. We've bathed in that creek. So I do cathartic cleansing too, which Baptists will call it baptismal, but I do it right there in the creek in front of that creekside area. And so then there's fire ceremonies on each side, east and west, and then the water flows through here in that area there. But it's just for you. So if I did it just for you, then I would tailor in and say, what's your birthright name and what do you prefer to be called? And then I'll pull it in. The first night is always Reiki and reflexology of the feet to get you to unplug and open. So then the more I can keep you barefoot and grounded, I have forest bathing areas where the trees since 2016, I have brought them together and they circulate above you. And that's about a block. Because 20 acres, I have a lot of fun. I literally never come back in the house. The kids are like, you going to the woods? And I'm like, yeah. They go, when are you coming back? I'm like, not today. And I'll come back at night. They have to come find me.
Well, that's like parenting, right? Because you say, we're going to do this. We're not sure how, and we might fail, but we're going to do it. Because I think that's such a parenting like win, right? Because not doing something because you're afraid you might fail, like literally, what are you teaching your kids? And why try? Right. You know? Right.
You're never going to make it. It's okay.
I know. I won't make it either. We'll just be losers together and not try. And now, like, I'm very much one of like, I'll probably suck at this the first time. But I'm going to try. And then, you know, things happen. Spirit really does meet you halfway.
Yes.
Like really, when you just put yourself out there.
It's
why we're
interesting
here
to see
to-
it affects my girls or my other kids, my boys, how it affects all of them and to get them in my life. And I mean,
well, now the boys know, they know what it's like. They know how to support a strong woman.
Oh, they're awesome.
Just
hearts of gold.
Right.
Type of, well, I mean, they're like their dad.
They're
Jason.
never going to be intimidated by a successful woman.
No.
So
and they know what it's supposed to be like.
Right.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And if I mess up, then I'm like, I'm sorry, my bad. I was processing something that had nothing to do with you.
Right.
Let me pull that away.
Right. Oh, how many times do we do that with kids?
A lot.
I love my events where kids come and I see the little girls come like dressed up in whatever they want. It just like makes me so happy.
Oh, I do. I love morning hair. Morning hair is my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, you had good sleep. Like, drape went off the
deal. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So you want to do some light language if you can?
If
you have to get into the...
Can I do it on you? It's easier if I do it on a
you
human.
can totally do it on me.
Okay. Am I allowed to stand or does that mess up
should we
things?
both stand?
No, you should sit.
Okay.
Okay. Am I allowed to stand? Yeah, I'm not going to mess you up. Okay. Do I have your permission?
Yes.
Sotalalaha kareodron kurste sitara manalahar de kidra namatasa. Yahala hor de kinana manareodro lokotra basta. Kisarani mananahala hardo koye mananatastaya. Sahar de halalayo korte minana salalaha kietrabasu. Shase corona mandrasa tarakastayala. Shosokor de hi nanamananara ya karto sotara. Shoso corte yanamanala hatre costo sotoropo cortasa. Yana hasuke de manala city la casto. Salhao yana kayo tarabicana rahase. Yamo corte bialana rasaya corta basala. Carundro costo ram. I'm going to touch your back. So corate shakanala narabea costo toko. Ya tarakasta yi kanana karasha. Can I touch your third eye? So tarakanenti ya karatastaya. Kandro coloria menmindre tarakastor tovelehe karanarasa. Yaha reonucore de biakasta. Saki anata soya tasoko. Samanare asho solo la carte tere. Canatare haro solo la cotere bianana. Sonoro me carada shayla la haya trocoso. Shanana halala yenana hiroko. Yamanalaya, namalalaya, namalalaya, laya. Solala kanana minana nanurustoreki. Yalalavana noroko mianarasa. He anarai analaoya karayo. Halanina leana kaleo. Yanana mai ala yado. Yanala neidara. Ala yano namiana. Ala miana edurae. Ala yana reo ala. Imanara udaidara. Sanarare bodro kotor basatre kita. Imanana tukosto sotor bakandara tasa. Ki tara manarasto sotoraba. Kenana mandara tasa tresu. Io non amassatra sto socorta vistara.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
So it feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It felt very good, very light, very healing. And I'll probably feel the effects of it all day.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yes.
Okay.
As long as you don't let anything steal it. Because I call them little foxes, will come to try to steal the joy that you have. Like you'll have a glorious moment and then the car will break down. Or you'll have a fun moment and you're feeling really good and resonating and you'll spill your water or something.
Right.
And so it's training you to let those things go. They don't need to steal your joy or your love or your light.
Right. Like tree pose.
Yep. Tree pose.
Completely
tree pose.
Right. It's all about the tree pose.
Yes. I love tree pose.
So when you do it, what do you feel?
it's very reciprocal. This time, I was able to get out of my head as long as I shut my eyes and forgot where I am, but I'm used to the woods around me when I do it. So when I'm doing it, then I'm like, I'll have to cut my head out, if that makes sense. Like, I literally have to, like, okay, get into the moment of, and now it's time for this. And I'm like, wait, I'm in front of cameras. Don't think about it. Suck in, stand up straight. And I'm like, oh, screw it. And then that's when I just got on one knee and I'm like, and I let it resonate because I had to get out of my own head of everybody like, they're going to commit you. I'm going to get on my head on that one.
I mean, probably not. I haven't had one of my people committed yet.
Yay! I don't want to be the first one.
No, I don't think you will be. I'll go down with you though.
Oh, sweet. Oh, okay. I'll sit with you. We'll do light language together.
I don't let my people go down alone.
It's honoring and memorable. Really, really different on when it happens. It's when I get out of my head and I was able to have that brief moment and I was right over heart chakra, you're really flowing right there. So when you let that go, then I could feel that. And then I felt some negative tethers, which is Reiki. And you just want to pull it out and release back to the earth and release back to the earth. And then when I close you, I want to close you back down so that you're not open and drained all during the day. Because as much as Reiki is lovely, if you don't close all of the chakras that you open, it's almost like having a bad chiropractic adjustment where you're like, oh, that didn't quite feel well. Right. You'll feel drained as you go through the day. So then you know that that person didn't shut you. No, if they don't shut it, then you can feel the drainage. And then if I don't close from being with you, then I'll feel you all day because you allowed me to become part of your essence. And so then it's magical. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's something I've always loved doing. I usually used to do it on like cats and dogs when I was younger. And my main mentor that I mentored underneath in 93 taught me on her cat of how to learn Reiki and the vibration and frequency. And that's when I started becoming a massage practitioner. Was back then. And she was like Yoda. Like you could feel her energy. Like if you opened a cupboard door, you could feel it around. When she passed away, it was very sad. But that's where you should learn is animals.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Because there's no words. You can see their body react like a cat or a dog. You don't have to touch them, but you can feel the connection between. That's how I taught my kids. That's how I teach my students is doing it that way.
Well, you've taught so many people throughout your life, and now you're coming back to doing it more intentionally.
Yes, a lot more intentional.
Without having a overlord.
Political red tape.
Without the overlord people.
Yeah, no authoritarian at this point.
Right.
Which is wild to think that it's boundaryless.
Yes, it is boundaryless. Like, really, the sky's the limit. You don't know what that's like until you step out into that.
It's kind of exciting.
It is. Like, it's very exciting. So people are going to be able to come see you at your land, your property. So, and of all religions, all backgrounds.
Everything.
Yeah. Everything.
LGBTQ plus.
Right.
Love is love on this property. Love.
So men and women and everyone comes out and they heal so that they can come back. They can like go further, they're still going to be able to live like whatever life they want after.
Yes, you make that choice. I mean, sometimes you're healing from a certain area. Like I had one of my clients in Tennessee that I go see. That person needed health healing. And then that health healing allowed that person to move forward. And now they're multi-million-dollar, not because of me necessarily, but they were able to see themselves in a different light. And I just happened to be able to be there.
Well, you healed them to get there.
Pivotal point. It's awesome to see somebody flourish.
It is.
I mean, and you're like the biggest cheerleader for everybody on this end. You're like, go, you got it. You're like, no, I don't. I'm spiritually constipated.
Like, you can do this.
No, I can't. And so when you see one of your clients, like some of my clients I've had since 94. And so to see, I mean, I don't have to explain anything. Some of them are so used to me that I can just tap in immediately.
Right.
And they're used to me now. And it built that trust and that bond because it is quite the honor to be in somebody's essence.
It is. And you don't ever really, don't you just still think about those people years down the road? Like when they need help, I always can like tell when somebody's going to come in to see me. I'll think about them.
And then all of a sudden they're in your trainways.
Right. And then they're like walking in. Yeah.
Yes. So. And they're like, hey, I was thinking about you the other day. And then they'll text you or call you. And I'm like, I felt you in morning meditation and prayer. I totally felt you. And then 3 days later, they're like, I really need a session. I'm like, I knew it. And thank you.
Well, because we're all connected. There's no difference.
Just like tree roots and moss.
Right. There's no difference. People are not. The separation is what makes people sick.
Yes.
That's it, right? It's all separation. We shouldn't be separated. Like, that's why I run my retreats the way I do. Yeah. Because one person's not better than the other.
No. They're all at different spots.
Yeah. They're all but like still one person's not, the healer can sit next to the brand new person.
And sometimes you learn from them still.
I still learn from them. Because it's
so fresh eyes.
Yes.
Because they haven't been pushed to that point of jadedness on some aspects. And then it shows you that you need to clean that spot of you. Like seeing you go through the last retreat, I'm like, thank you. You are human.
Oh, I'm totally human. No, I
know you're human, but you usually within the moment, you are just covered with more and more sparkles as the day goes on.
That's what I do.
You're like a disco ball. I love it. It's my favorite part.
I think we should walk around like that all the time.
I want to.
I do. Well, I also try to really like be an example of self-expression.
Yes. Yes.
Like for other women to be like, no, you can express yourself. But yeah, once people get to know me and they're like in my inner group, they're like, oh no, she's totally human. And I never mean to like necessarily separate myself.
You don't. You blend with everybody like water. It was just real and raw to see you. Nothing was negative at all. It was positive inspiration to see you go through. And then I wouldn't have shared my thing with the cult of the church if I hadn't have sat and chatted with you for a brief moment. I would have been like, dude, sisters, twinning. Yeah.
Right.
I wouldn't have thought, that's not something you bring up. So let's have tea. So were you in a cult? Yes, me too.
We had another girl on the show that was in a cult. Maybe we'll have like a round table.
We need to have a cult table.
She was like raised in a cult. So like, because I always say like, stories are sacred. Yeah. And when we tell our stories, it releases the power.
Yes. Yeah. It feels like it has this hold over you.
If it's a secret, you're giving it too much power. You need to just talk about it with somebody. They always say, tell those sacred stories. That's why I have like this show, because I want to hear the stories. I want to hear the real raw stories.
Yeah. Well, being in the cult, and me and you were talking about that, you don't even realize it when you're growing up in it because you're younger. So you figure that the adult people in your life are taking care of what would be safety or risk. You know, and then you're like, wait, the police were involved in that one. Now, when I think back about this, that was kind of wrong.
I know, right?
Well, that's why I'm tweaking out. And it hits you in waves. You're like, oh shit.
I'm like, inside, I would have a nervous breakdown. Inside, I'm having a nervous breakdown. But the police, you know.
And you're just talking like, and so, how are you today? Let's just talk about this. And I'm like, get out of town.
And I'm like, and now we're going to end the marginalization of women and children. But like through those experiences of marginalization, did I learn what marginalization was?
Yeah. Nobody can tell you. Look it up in the dictionary. You've got that one down.
Right. Right.
Or gaslighting.
You don't, I had to experience so that I could help other women and go, girl, no, you're being gaslighted. You're marginalizing, like you're self-marginalizing. How many times do we self-marginalize? Oh. I can't really do this. I'm just going to sit here.
Yeah. And if I do, what's the recourse of it?
Right.
Because you're trained especially from a cult perspective, if you break free of what they believe is deemed as worthy or righteous living, then you already feel like you're going to burn in hell somewhere. And I'm like, I'm no longer the black sheep. I'm the rainbow goat.
Right, the rainbow goat.
I am the rainbow goat. And I am just dancing over there in my little tutu all over the place. Yeah, and I know that's why I haven't wrote my book, because it's similar. What's going to happen? Who's going to judge it?
It's crazy vulnerable. Yeah. The reality is vulnerability is our greatest strength.
Yes.
But that's like a hard lesson to learn, because vulnerability is not comfortable. It's not comfortable to tell those stories. One is because, you're going to get looked at. You're going to get talked about. People are going to say all kinds of things. But that's like, the reality is that's like 1%. You're going to have 99% of women go,
oh my gosh, me too.
If she did it, I can do it.
Yeah. And what was it like for her growing up? Well, geez, I'm not far from that. Or I went through the same thing and maybe even more intense. And you can heal.
Right. You totally can.
It's just not always fun, but it's worth it.
Oh,
There's no way to
so
live.
Worth it. Right. For your legacy. You've got to leave that legacy of healing, right?
Yes, please.
So thank you so much for being on our show today and for showing your healing modalities to the world.
Thank you for having me.
If you want to get in touch with AmberLee, you can go to my website, www.hydf.com. So that stands for Harnessing Your Divine Feminine .online. Yeah, I forgot. See, I had healing and now I'm not grounded. HYDF.online. HYDF.online for Harnessing Your Divine Feminine. And if you want a session with her, do you do remote sessions?
Yes, I will do over the phone. That started in COVID.
Right.
I didn't know I could do it until COVID happened.
Or you can go out to her land. So message me through whatever platform you're listening to this on, and I can get you in touch with her. And thank you for watching today, and go give a woman an opportunity. Namaste.
Namaste.
The Harnessing Your Divine Feminine show is produced by 8 Robinsons TV. Subscribe for only $30 per year for access to exclusive and archived content. Visit www.8ROBINSONS.tv. Thank you for watching.